Hello guys and welcome back sa Room 666. Panibagong reaction, panibagong video na naman para sa araw na ito. So, ang topic natin ngayon is about sa update sa Russia and Ukraine. Comment ng comment si Adrian Abuyuan ng part 2 daw. So, ito yung update na papanoorin natin ngayon kung ano na nga ba lagay ng Russia and Ukraine. Ito guys, ito yung mga miscalculation ni Zelensky. Kaya nangyari sa kanya to sa bansa niya. 'Di ba? Bigyan ko lang yun ng konting background ni Zelensky, yung presidente ng Ukraine. Siya ay isang former actor, comedian. Yan, at naging nahalal bilang presidente. So, makikita natin na hindi talaga niya na calculate maigi yung mga galaw ng Russia at galaw ng NATO at ng European Union, ng Western. Kaya ganito. Kaya pag-usapan natin ngayon ay miscalculation ng presidente ng Ukraine na si Zelensky. So bago ang lahat, shoutout muna tayo. Shoutout muna kay Justin Adeva, kay Jerickson Arevalo, kay Nilmar Torres, Andres Boni, kay Boss Jeffrey de Guzman, kay Ma'am Marites Guevara, kay Mario Jr. Flores, kay Boxing Ball Nation, kay Franz Daniel, Carol Bernabe, at kay Ryan J. Gerali o Herali. Yan, so huwag na natin patagalin guys. Let's go.
When Russia's invasion began, President Zelensky was defiant. He promised to defend every inch of Ukraine's territory. Now he's open to concessions. He's open to abandoning his quest for NATO membership. So what exactly changed in 14 days? In simple...
So, ayun guys, no? Inaabandona na ni Zelensky yung sali sa NATO kasi nga ito.
Zelensky got a taste of reality. He made 3 strategic miscalculations. Number 1, he overestimated Western support.
So, ayun nga. Nag-overestimate siya sa Western support. So, akala niya ay tutulungan siya ng Western dahil nga sinasabi din ni Biden na magpapadala siya ng suporta ng mga military forces. Pero ano nangyari? Wala.
2, he oversold Ukraine's importance to the West. And number 3, he misread Putin's real intentions.
Yan. So, ito nga. First, nagkamali siya ng calculation na akala niya tutulungan siya or susuportahan siya ng Western, pero ang nangyari hindi. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi nga ang Ukraine ay ginagawa lang shield ng Western against sa Russia. 'Di ba? Pinagsasanggalan lang ni Western si Ukraine, and hindi naman talaga pumalag, 'di ba, yung NATO, or hindi nag-engage. Umiwas din sila. Pati yung mga sanction, I think wala na eh. Hindi naman natuloy mga sanction. May nakikipag-away pa sa akin tungkol sa about sa sanction, and basta ayoko na may pag-away dito sa video ko. So, na-misread ng Ukraine ang importance niya sa West. Hindi naman talaga sila mahalaga. Ginagawa lang silang, kumbaga sa chess, ginagawa lang silang pawn. So, sige, abante kayo. Try nyo palagan to. Tingnan natin kung makokontrol or ilalabas ng Russia kung ano bang, or maipapakita ng Russia yung lakas ng military forces nila. Pero wala, hanggang dyan lang. So, yung pawn natin na Ukraine, wala na. Tumba na. And hindi sinuportahan ng Western gaya ng sinabi ni Biden na susuportahan niya ang Ukraine. And ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat, hindi niya alam kung ano talaga yung intensyon ni Putin. Kaya niya lang ginagawa ni Putin to para magising siya sa katotohanan na ito nga na ginagawa siyang pawn ng Western, para kang sinasampal ng kaaway ng isang tao na against sa'yo sinasampal ka ng katotohanan. And yung action ng inaakala mong kakampi, yun lalo ang nagpagising sa'yo dahil hindi ka tinulungan. So, anong ginawa ni Putin? Sinampal-sampal siya sa mukha ng katotohanan. And hindi na...
We'll take them one by one. Zelensky knew that Ukraine was no match for Russia. It was evident for everyone watching this situation. The army, the finances, everything was
Yun ang miscalculation niya, di ba? Akala niya, sa pagdating sa sa lakas, talo talaga sila. Kaya lang lumakas ang loob nito dahil binubuyo ng Western. Akala niya susuportahan siya. Pero hindi.
tagged against him. But Zelensky thought he had a trump card, the West. And he had good reason to think so. Joe Biden refused to guarantee Ukraine's neutrality. He refused to pull back from NATO's eastern flank. Instead, he expanded military assistance. He flooded Ukraine with lethal weapons. Clearly, Biden was invested in the fight. The question was, how invested? Listen into what Zelensky said on the 1st of September last year, weeks before the Russian buildup began.
I feel that President Biden, well, not only do I feel, I heard that he personally supports Ukraine on the issue of granting NATO membership. But it's hard for me to tell what the path is going to be like.
This was September 2021. In fact, let's go back further to April 2021. That was Russia's first military buildup. Back then, Zelensky seemed very confident of America's support. Listen to what he said.
President Biden assured me that Ukraine will never be left alone against Russian aggression.
So, anong nangyari dito, no? So, pinakitaan lang siya ng susuportahan namin kayo. So, ayun, nag-deploy nga ng mga and pero pag nandiyan na yung action and umaction nga ang Russia and wala. So, inabandon na nga.
Ukraine will never be left alone. April 2021, that was Biden's promise. So naturally, Zelensky hoped for big things. He thought the military aid was just the start, that more would come, more help. But he was wrong. Military aid was NATO's maximum limit. They refused to go beyond that. No soldiers on the ground, no no-fly zones, nothing that would pit them against Russia. Same with sanctions. It's day 14 of the invasion and Europe is still buying Russian oil and gas. The fact is, the West led Ukraine on. They refused to compromise. They promised all the support, but when the time came, NATO stood back and watched. Miscalculation number 2. Zelensky overestimated Ukraine's importance to the West. It was evident in his words. He called Ukraine the shield of Europe. Listen to this.
For 8 years, Ukraine has been a shield. For 8 years, Ukraine has been holding back one of the greatest armies in the world, which stands along our borders, not the borders of the European Union. And the missile systems flew to Mariupol, not to European cities. These events confirm that comprehensive security in Europe is impossible if Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity is not restored.
Again, he was wrong. Ukraine was expendable for the West. They were not serious about the NATO membership. They were not serious about the sanctions. For them, Ukraine was just a useful tool. Something to irritate Vladimir Putin, that's all.
So, di ba ayun? Sila yung ginawang pang irita kay Putin eh. Di ba? Baliw-baliw din si Putin. Ayan, sinampal-sampal siya ng katotohanan. Akala kasi nila, pag ganun-ganun lang si Putin, siguro tinatansya talaga ng USC, si Putin.
But that useful tool had an expiry date. It was February 24th when Russia invaded. And this has happened before. Think back to Afghanistan in the 1980s. America funded the Mujahideen to fight the Soviet army. Was it because Afghanistan was strategically important for the West? No, it wasn't. The sole objective was to give the Soviets a bloody nose. Afghanistan was also a useful tool for the Americans. Same with Georgia. America armed them in the late 2000s. They trained Georgian soldiers. They promised NATO membership in the future. But when war broke out, NATO recoiled. Zelensky made that very same mistake. He believed that Ukraine was a key strategic asset for NATO. He was wrong. For NATO, Ukraine was just another pawn. Miscalculation number 3. Zelensky failed to read Putin's mind. On this, you cannot really blame him. Until the last moment, nobody thought there would be a war. There would be threats, some saber rattling perhaps, but eventually Russia would pull back. That was a conventional wisdom. Even as late as January 28, Zelensky did not buy the war hysteria. This is what he said.
The feeling from the media is that we have a war. We have troops on the roads, we have mobilization, people are going somewhere. It does not. We do not need this panic.
Нам не потрібна ця паніка.
In hindsight, should he have prepared better? Should he have considered Putin's proposals more seriously? Perhaps he should. But put yourself in Zelensky's boots. You have the world's most powerful military alliance promising support. You have lethal weapons pouring in every day. You have promises of unprecedented sanctions on Russia. It is not surprising that
Pinapaasa lang siya, no? Pinangakuan ka ng kung ano-ano. Tapos nung ginera na kayo, hindi ka na sinuportahan. Yan ang mahirap mangyari kung sa atin mangyayari yan. So, kailangan talaga palakasin yung depensa natin. Palakasin yung military forces natin. And kasi kapag gera nang sumakop talaga sa'yo, sinong asahan mo, di ba? Wala, sarili mo lang. Kung aasa na naman tayo sa ibang bansa, dapat yung tutupad ng pangako. Sila nga hinayaan lang sila, di ba? Kaya nagbagong isip na ito ni Zelensky.
Zelensky decided to fight. The West promised him sovereignty, but they refused to fight for it, and history will judge him for that. All this Twitter fanfare, all this YouTube glory will disappear. What will remain is this: Ukraine is making the same compromises that Russia first demanded. In fact, more than that, Russia was only demanding neutrality then, no joining the NATO. That's what they wanted. Now they want Zelensky to recognize Donbass and Crimea. The difference is, hundreds of innocent Ukrainians are now dead. WION is now available.
Yun lang, no? Simple lang naman hinihingi ni Putin Huwag kang kakampi dyan sa sa European and neutral lang tayo. Nung ginalit yung parang ginalit yung oso akala nila hindi tututuhanin ni Putin. So nagkamali sila, may isang salita si Putin, and yun nga, ganoon ang nangyari. So mahirap talaga kapag ganito, no, na nagiging puppet yung presidente, sunod-sunuran. Sige, binuyo yung Russia, tapos hindi sila tutulungan. Napakasaklap. Kagaya ng sinabi netong reporter na wala na may mga casualties na 100 Ukrainian. So hindi na mababalik yun. Ang tanong, kasalanan ba ng Russia? Gera na to di ba? So ayun guys, hanggang dito na lang muna. So update ko na lang kayo kung may mabalitaan pa akong mga ganito. Si kasi kinukulit sa comment update daw, update. So ayun guys, hanggang dito na lang muna. Ako po 6, maraming salamat and bye bye.